What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Footballer's Advice. In today's video, I wanted to go over a question that one of our subscribers had on how to actually develop closer personal relationships to professional coaches, scouts, players, and agents outside of your soccer performance. I think this was a really good question to ask and something I wanted to talk about because it relates to other videos that I've made in the past about the importance of networking. As you guys already know from watching this channel, I reiterate the importance of creating and establishing relationships within the soccer industry. This is because when you need to tap into this network later on, it can help open doors for you to play professionally. But how do you create these relationships that are deeper than just a symbiotic relationship? To illustrate this symbiotic relationship, you as a player are establishing and creating relationships with agents because you know they have connections to professional soccer teams that may be interested in signing you. And then agents also creating and establishing relationships with you as a player because they know that based on their professional connections, they may be able to make money off you if they're able to sign you with one of those professional teams. Both parties benefit from creating and establishing these relationships because they both can receive a financial gain from it. However, when you connect and create these relationships with other people, in my opinion, it's more important to create these relationships on a deeper and more personal level beyond just soccer. So how do you do this? Well, first is that creating relationships takes time. No relationship worth having happens just overnight. If you take, for instance, in this example, a club coach that you have played for in the past, it probably took a whole season for both of you to get to know one another better. After having multiple interactions with them, you learn more and more about them as time passes. And then, 6 months from then, or even longer, you're able to establish more of a mutual relationship together. Now, to what extent that relationship covers depends on what information both of you share with one another. For instance, in the example of your club coach, maybe over a season you got to know them better and they talk about their background and where they're from. They may talk about what college they went to or how they got into coaching. You may even find out more about their kids or their spouse or what they like doing outside of playing soccer. All of this allows you to establish a more personal connection and relationship with that person. Relating to one another also helps establish that connection. Maybe both of you went to the same high school or college, or you're from the same city or town. Or maybe you both went through similar life experiences. All of this can help develop that mutual relationship between one another. So to tie all of this back together and how it relates to developing more personal and closer connections to professional coaches, scouts, players, and agents is that you need to find mutual interests or shared experiences with each other. That way you can connect with them on a more personal level. If it's a professional soccer player that you're talking with, maybe both of you know a mutual friend or went to the same college or are from the same city or town. If it's a professional coach or scout, maybe both of you know a mutual friend within the soccer industry, whether it's been a coach that they've worked with before. If it's a professional agent, maybe both of you know a mutual player that they've represented before or at least know about. Anything that you can connect with them about or talk with them about later on helps facilitate and engage that conversation. And all this pretty much means the more you talk with each other, the better the relationship will be. To give a more personal example of this, when I was in Sweden, I was able to connect with 2 scouts that were in Stockholm. The first scout was actually a first-tier Swedish scout, and the second was an individual responsible for scouting the Scandinavian region for other first-tier teams in Europe. When I met the second scout, it turns out after having multiple conversations with them that we actually attended the same college. And with the second scout, after having multiple conversations with him, I was able to eventually meet his wife when they watched one of my soccer games. And then when my family came into Sweden, he was able to show them around Stockholm and also had lunch with us. So now when we talk, we don't only just talk about soccer, but I also ask how his family is doing and things like that. So what I would recommend doing when you meet a professional coach, scout, agent, or player is find ways to connect with them beyond just your performance on the soccer field. Maybe you know someone in common, or maybe you'll have lunch with them and you're able to connect with them over a bite to eat. You never know, and there's no straightforward answer on how to actually develop these personal relationships. But just like the example of you playing for your new coach, it takes time to develop these relationships beyond just your performance on the field. The best thing you can do is talk with people. The more you talk with people, the more they get to know you, and the more you're able to find mutual experiences or common ground with that person to relate with them. From there, build upon getting to know them better and stay in touch. As you keep them up to date on not only your soccer career, but also things that are happening in your personal life, they will be able to help you out later on when you need it. Whether it be asking a coach or an agent to be a reference on your resume for a professional soccer team, or asking them for any connections that they may have to get you a professional trial. All of these things revolve around you taking the initiative to get to know that person and build a relationship from there. So I hope that helped you guys with how you should approach networking and how to connect with people within the soccer industry. Make sure to build relationships beyond the purpose of gaining contacts in order to help you out. Build relationships that are meaningful. When you build meaningful relationships, people are more willing to help you out. But as always, guys, thank you again for watching another episode of Footballer's Advice. Don't forget to also subscribe and also leave a comment down below on what you think is essential in order to build relationships. I'd love to hear them and read about them, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.